Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. I'm going to take a look at a Sig tonight. This is a Sig 2022. This happens to be the Tac Pac, which is kind of their, catch-all, everything comes in the box type of kit. This particular kit comes with a lot of goodies, and some things are kind of missing from this thing, so I'll kind of go over that. Obviously, you get the gun, you get one magazine, which is a 15 round metal magazine. This thing is like gooey out of the pack, kind of weird, and needs cleaned up pretty good. But you only get one. I think they should include more than one. That's my complaint for the kit. You get a light laser combo, which I dig. Comes right out of the box, Picatinny rail style. You get a battery with it, obviously. I like that. Nice inclusion with a really nice light and laser combo. You get a changeable back strap. Goes on the guns if you want to have a little different feel to it. You get that as well. And you get this humongous, weirdest looking holster I've ever seen right here. And it's functional, but it's really unsightly and kind of awkward. It's made to go with the light already attached. That's what this big hunk of plastic is down here. And then it kind of closes like that, so your hammer is still sort of exposed. To access the gun, you basically push down on this and the top flips up and then you get the gun out. Not the worst setup I've seen. It's just so big for a paddle holster. It's just kind of weird, but it's an inclusion nonetheless, so I like it. You don't have to buy a holster right away, but I don't know how much use I would give that thing because it's just so big. As far as the gun itself, polymer gun, framed gun. It is a hammer-fired gun, double action, single action. The double action is pretty nice. The single action is even better. We'll get to that in a minute. It's basically set up for right-handed shooter only. None of the controls are ambidextrous. It basically has your magazine release on the left side, your slide lock also on the same side as well. And it does have a decocker, which I like. So, one in the chamber, want to go back to double action, just decock. Pretty nice. I always like a decocker on a gun, if possible. Just a nice inclusion. Rail up front, obviously, to fit your light laser combo, which you don't have to buy in the Tac Pac kit. Pretty standard, 3-dot sight pattern. I believe it does come with night sights, which is a nice inclusion there again. Always like night sights if you're going to, have an upgrade later. Night sights are always a good option, so when they come right out of the box this way, good thing. It's a 9mm, 15 rounder. And it's going to get the job done. Nothing fancy about the gun. It does have a good feel. I like the double action. It's long and hard like you'd expect. Single action. There's not a lot of slop here, not a lot of take up. Crisp pull. One thing I did notice when dry firing this gun for the first time, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the hammer has a bounce to it. And I guess after doing some research, that's pretty typical of this gun. When you especially in single action, I noticed it a lot. When you pull the trigger, there's some bounce back to the hammer, and I guess that's so the hammer doesn't lay on the firing pin at all times. So it's just it's a different feel. You'll kind of get some, kickback or reverberation through the gun. Now, when shooting it, you're not going to notice it one bit. But when dry firing it, it's the very, very first thing I noticed was that there's just some vibration in the gun. Overall, this kit's going to retail under $600, just a shade. But everything in the box with the night sights, the laser, the light, the holster, you can't go wrong there. Again, the only complaint I had was just that there's no inclusion of a second magazine, or for that matter, there probably should be 3 magazines. I think every gun ought to ship with at least 2. Sig needs to step it up. Most of their guns ship with 1. That's kind of ridiculous in my mind. So check it out, Sig 2022 Tac Pac. It does come in a 40 as well, but this is the 9mm. Nice little gun, a lot of extras for the money, and you can't go wrong. So we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.